Away from issues of the voter register, let's focus on the nomination as running mates for John Dramani Mahama of Professor JoyNews Opoku-Agyemang. And related to that, the vice presidential candidate for the Progressive People's Party in the 2016 general election, Bridget Jogbanuku, has described the governing MPP's critique of Professor Nana Opoku-Agyemang as pathetic. She says the governing party is simply perpetuating a culture of competition that has not benefited the country. The MPP met the announcement of Professor Opoku-Agyemang as flag bearer or as running mate with an attack on her track record as Minister for Education. Now, speaking on Prime Morning on Joy Prime, Bridget Jogbanuku said she was disappointed in the reaction.
It's pathetic. It's terrible. It's pathetic. I can't even imagine that this person has been given the opportunity to lead and make a difference, and immediately we need to go and dig up dirt on her just for political gain, Some of it might be true, some of it might not be true, but you see, we are not static people. We grow and we learn. Whatever she did yesterday or 2 days ago, she's obviously learned and is moving on from there, hopefully to be a better. And if you're going to use this for that reason to cut her down to, I don't know what the point is. You see, they say that we judge people by the things we most detest in ourselves. And this is exactly what Mr. Boabeng Asamoah, if I got the name right, is doing. We judge people by our own shortcomings. And this is what they are doing.
And on the AM show this morning, governance experts, IDEX Director Kwesi Jonah and independent political analyst Dr. Nansata Yakubu all admonish other political parties to come on board to promote women's empowerment following the nomination of Professor Opoku-Agyemang.
I think what Professor Nana Opoku-Agyemang can bring to this ticket is her appeal to women. I just, since yesterday when she was named, listened to some women, market women in the central region and other places, women's groups, who were so very excited about her nomination as the running mate of NDC presidential candidate J.D. Mahama. Now, I think this is her strength, and she should make the best out of it. Women all over the country are very excited. Market women who don't have too much education, all of them are so very excited about the possibility of a woman becoming a vice president. And I think she should, she has other advantages. First, everybody knows that she had snapped up this position more than a month ago. All these names that were being thrown in the media, just red herring. She had been informed more than a month ago that she was going to be the running mate. And so it's particularly based on the fact that she has a very close working relationship with His Excellency J.D. Mahama. The personal relationship between the chemistry between the two of them, very, very strong. And this means that they'll be able to work closely together in the event that they win. You remember, some vice presidents have always complained that they were sidelined. In this case, it cannot happen because the two of them are so very close. They have excellent working relations, and it's not going to happen the way it happened with other vice presidents. Then the second thing is, if you look at the woman, her very impressive biodata, you are overwhelmed by her humility. Just go through many achievements, and you cannot imagine how a woman who has achieved so much in her life can at the same time remain so very humble. That also appeals to a lot of people. Then the third thing is, this is a woman who has been a vice chancellor of a university. This is a woman who has chaired Wesley Girls High School board.
I don't think it was out of the blue. For me, last year, I mean, if you've been following some of the discussions on the call about running mates, in April last year, we made the call and we put Professor Nana Opoku-Agyemang ahead of a pack of other women. And we made this call based on the fact that from independence, you have 12 male running mates. The parties have never considered a female running mate. When we say the parties, we mean the two front runners, the NPP and the NDC. They've had other parties, yes, using female running mates, but those parties themselves have problematic party structures, are not politically savvy enough. The landscape for them has not been robust enough. And that has nothing to do with the women who were selected as female running mates. So for me, as a political analyst and a political watcher of elections, this has not been out of the blue. What I think the NDC is trying to do is to restore a social order. If you look at the participation of women in elections, women have always been the structure on which most of these parties have built their campaigns, have built their structures. Yet when it gets to this executive decision making, women are conveniently left out of the powers of corridor within the internal party structures and also even in the national body politic. So I think that for me, this is a first. When we say a first, we are not discounting any other political parties' employment of women as female. What we want to say is that this time, the role of a woman as a ticket cannot be discounted.
Well, to help us broaden the discussion beyond the realm of politics is a foremost gender or women's advocate, Rashida Adams. Now, good afternoon to you and thank you for joining us. If you look at the nomination and per what the reactions have been so far, how do you think this is going to further the cause of women in getting into general mainstream politics, but also other spheres of entrepreneurship and the general society? Can you unmute for me? Rashida, unmute. Please, can you unmute your sound for me, please, Rashida?
Right. Okay.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, please. Please go ahead.
Yes. Obviously, yes. Like I was saying, obviously, this is a historic occasion. The NDC has shown a lot of good faith towards the women of Ghana by doing this. I think that for many women and girls, actually before this nomination, a lot of women, a lot of people were not very enthused about voting in this year's election. The COVID-19 aside, people just have developed a general apathy towards the two strongest political parties. And this move seemingly, at least from what we are seeing on social media, seems to have neutralized that apathy. And now, all of a sudden, a lot of women, a lot of people are interested in registering and casting their vote. And what that should tell you is that for a long time, women have been looking for representation. For a long time, women have been looking to say, you know what, this is the leadership of the country. When there is a president standing, when there's a vice president standing, we'd like to see our agenda identified as at least one of the people that are heading the country. And so for us, it is a step in the right direction. It furthers the whole affirmative action discussion. It shows that it's important to to include women in the discussion, to include girls in the discussion. And there are so many people who are saying, all of a sudden, we also feel we can do it. Okay. Most of the problem with women's participation in parliament and in politics has mostly been that they do not think that political parties have enough room for women or make enough space for women. Right. But obviously,
there is a considerable aspect about how this could spur on other women to also get to fight for leadership positions as well, and also get the recognition that they need beyond politics. How is that, in your opinion, going to be achieved?
I do believe this. I do believe this is a possibility. I do believe that from how women see other people supporting this particular vice presidential candidate, and from how she will help in the campaign, and how, say, the party will hold her, it will give other women the courage. Because look, there's not like women are not interested in positions of power. The thing is, we are always very afraid that if we come out and we are being attacked, the parties, whatever parties we are representing, are they going to be there for us? Are they going to defend us? Are they going to ensure that, you know, we are, even if we are being attacked, it is in a fair way? Okay, and so if this particular Professor Jane Nana Opoku-Agyemang, obviously her nomination has shown that the NDC is ready to partner with women, is ready to have women at its forefront. And I was just telling someone yesterday that this is a huge gamble for John Mahama, because obviously we haven't tested this before. This is uncharted territory. You bring a woman as a vice presidential candidate. We don't know how this could go. This could go very well for the NDC. This could also go very bad for the NDC, depending on, you know, what depending on the people who are going to vote and what they think of having a woman as a vice presidential candidate. But I said this also, that win or lose, President Mahama would go down in history as the person who gave a woman a chance to lead in one of the biggest political parties in Ghana.
Well, thank you very much. Leading gender activist right here in Ghana, Rashida Adams, helping us broaden the discussion beyond the political sphere.